chain between two big cannons on there. Can you imagine? This chain was approximately 1800 feet long, weighed 65 tons, and took 270 men just to float it on barges and take it across the river. And it was manufactured here locally in a small village called Sterling Forest. It's about 25 miles southwest of West Point, and the whole project was completed in a record of 8 weeks. Soon on the driver's side we'll be passing a tall statue. Again, this statue is that of Thaddeus Kosciuszko or Kosciuszko. Thaddeus Kosciuszko was a Polish officer and a great patriot of the United States. He came here from Poland after his unsuccessful bid to win freedom for his country. He was also an engineer. He was given the title of Engineer-in-Chief. He was responsible for fortifying West Point. It was his brilliant idea of putting the chain across the river. Again, Thaddeus Kosciuszko. Several sports fields. We are passing the soccer field. Right next to the soccer field is the baseball field. Again, this baseball field is dedicated to an American baseball legend, Admiral Doubleday. Called it the Doubleday Field. Admiral Doubleday was not only considered as father of American baseball, was a general during the Civil War, and most importantly, he was a graduate of West Point. We have now entered academic arena where all the classrooms are located. We pass Lincoln Hall. We're getting the closer look of the library, again on the door side. On the driver's side, we are passing this large stone structure. This is Thayer Hall. Thayer Hall used to be an indoor riding facility. When riding was part of the curriculum, cadets would come down here to practice their riding skills. Today it's converted into classrooms. There are more than 100 classrooms in Thayer Hall alone. Taylor Hall, again on the door side, Taylor Hall, where all the administrative offices are located. Again, Taylor Hall is the largest self-supporting stone structure in the United States. There's not a piece of metal in this building. We're now going under Mahan Hall, building for math and engineering, dedicated to Professor Mahan, who was the longest serving professor here at West Point. He taught the cadets math and engineering for more than 40 years during the Civil War. Again, we're getting a last glimpse of the Hudson. I'll briefly now go over the requirements. What does it take to become a cadet? How are these candidates chosen? First of all, there's an age requirement. One has to be between the ages of 17 and 23. They have to be at the top of their class, near perfect SAT scores. Last year, I'm told we had about 16,000 applications, of which about 1,100 were accepted. Should have shown leadership qualities in their local communities by volunteering, by being an Eagle Scout, etc. Cannot have any dependents. They cannot be married as cadets. And they also have to seek nomination from an elected official, from either a congressman, the senator. They have to be appointed, basically. Once they've gotten all of these, they are still not guaranteed a spot here unless they undergo rigorous physical fitness and medical evaluation. Once they pass that, only then they are admitted into the academy, but not accepted as cadets. To be finally accepted as cadets, they have to undergo 8 weeks of basic cadet training program. Or we also call it as the Beast or the Beast Barracks, because the conditions, I am told, under which they train are meant only for a beast. If they successfully complete those 8 weeks of training, only then they are accepted as cadets. For everybody, the women, men and women train exactly the same way. There's no exception. It is a 4-year program, and there is a one-time fee of approximately $3,000 that goes towards their books and supplies. The rest of their stay here is taken care of by the federal government. In fact, every cadet gets paid a small stipend of about $9,000 a year, which in turn goes back towards their books and supplies. At the end of 4 years, all these cadets graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree and also as officers in the Army, as second lieutenants in the Army. Once they graduate, they have an obligation. They have to serve in the Army for 5 years and in the reserve for 3. West Point also has foreign cadet program. Approximately 1.5% of the cadets here are foreign nationals. They come from various American allied countries. These countries are so small they do not have an academy of their own, so they send their cadets up here for training. They are paid for by the countries that they come from, Once they graduate, they go back and serve in the armies of their respective countries. Again, a very, very general and a brief overview of the admissions process. What do these cadets do for all the 4 years? Every year, 9 months in a year, the cadets are in classrooms doing their academic work. 2 months in a year, they undergo various kinds of military training. They get 1 month of vacation, not at a stretch. It is usually scattered around the holidays, a few days around the holidays. So typically they're here year-round for all the 4 years. Again, the academy itself is housed in about 3,000 acres. The military reserve is in over 14,500 acres. Again, I mentioned I would point out Hotel Fair. It's right across the plains. Again, built in 1926. We are now getting ready to leave the post. We're going back to the visitor center. Again, I request everybody to please put away your cameras. There's no more photography until we are outside in the town of Highland Falls. At the visitor center, if you have not visited, I encourage everybody to go visit the museum. It is the oldest and largest military museum